Have you ever wondered what would happen if a pilot refused to fly a plane because of safety concerns? Imagine being on that plane when it happens. You're probably going to be pretty scared. That was exactly what happened in this next story. Want to win? The passengers found out why the pilot had refused to fly the plane. They stood by him. They told the captain they'd fix it as soon as they could, but that might take a while. The captain knew he couldn't wait. If they took off without fixing the plane, the risk of an accident would be too great. But he couldn't just stand there arguing with the ground crew. He had to do something. He looked around and saw a toolbox. He grabbed it and went back to the plane. He opened the toolbox and started working on the plane. He worked as fast as he could, but he knew he wasn't going to finish in time. He needed help. But he also knew that if he didn't get on the plane, they'd find another pilot to replace him, so he decided to wait. He picked up the phone and dialed 911. He explained the situation and asked for more ground crew to come and help him fix the plane. He finished as fast as he could and then ran to the plane. And don't forget to like and share this video if you haven't already. And with that, I'll see you next time. He saw the ground crew waving at him. He knew they were trying to tell him something, but he couldn't hear what. He hoped so. He had done everything he could to fix it, but he just didn't know if it would be enough. He looked out the window again and saw the ground crew running after him. He felt a sense of relief wash over him. They were indeed trying to tell him that they had fixed the plane. He had made the right decision. Put on his headphones and listened to the radio. The flight attendant came up to him and said, "I'm sorry, but you have to leave the plane immediately." The captain was confused. He had done nothing wrong. Why did they want him to leave? He opened the door and started unfastening his seatbelt. He was just in time. The plane was about to take off. He fastened his seatbelt and took his seat. He knew he had made the right decision. They wanted to know why he had refused to fly the plane. He told them about the loose screws and how it could have caused an accident. He also told them about how the ground crew had fixed it and how grateful he was for that. The passengers who had been on the plane with him stood by him. They knew he had done the right thing, and they wanted the world to know it too. But the operator told him that wasn't possible. All the ground crew was busy with other flights. The captain was desperate. He didn't know what to do. This is the story of how a pilot was removed from a flight for refusing to break protocol. The passengers stood with him. The captain of the plane had been flying for decades. Had flown all over the world and had never had a single accident. But one day he was scheduled to fly from New York to London. On the day of the flight, the captain showed up ready to fly. But when he got to the plane, he noticed something was wrong. The plane had been tampered with. Someone had loosened the screws that held the rudder control cables in place. This could be extremely dangerous, so the captain immediately reported it to the ground crew. It was now up to the ground crew to fix the plane before takeoff. But they were very busy. But the longer he waited, the more worried he became. It had been hours since the plane was supposed to take off. If they didn't leave soon, they'd miss their connecting flight. And if that happened, the airline would be furious. After waiting for a while longer, the captain finally had enough. He knew he couldn't wait any longer. He went up to the ground crew and told them he wanted to fly the plane. Even though it wasn't fixed, the ground crew told him that wasn't possible. They needed to fix it first. But the captain was adamant. He knew that if he didn't fly the plane, the airline would find someone else to do it. And that person would likely be less experienced than him. That scared him. He knew that if anything went wrong, it would be his fault. That's when he saw it. There was a sign on the toolbox that said, "In case of emergency, call 911. Then he had an idea. He hung up the phone and went back to work. As the plane took off, he looked out the window. As the plane flew through the air, he thought about what the ground crew had been trying to tell him. Could it be that they had fixed the plane? When the plane landed, he was greeted by a crowd of reporters. What do you think? Was the pilot right to refuse to fly the plane? Let me know in the comments below.